Hi, I'm Miss Straight, and if you're watching this video, that means that your child is in my class, specifically in my Principles of Arts, AV, Technology, and Communications class. So, before we get started, let me just explain to you what this class is about, because I know it's a mouthful. All right, so this is basically a communications class. This is a class about working in the communications field specifically, and the skills that your child, your student would need if they chose that field. Um, this primarily my expertise is in journalism and public relations, so that's the experience that I have. But there are so many jobs that utilize these skills, even regular um, office jobs, any sort of customer service jobs. These communication skills really do carry over to that. So in my class, I really like to boil things down to the basics of communication, which is gathering information, interpreting information, and distributing information. That's essentially what your students are doing in every single assignment. One assignment you'll hear them groan about the most is probably interviewing. Um, Another form of interviewing is also man on the street. Those assignments are really difficult for the students, mostly because it requires them to talk to another human. And that is a hassle for some of them. It's just time that they don't want to take, or maybe that they don't have. I don't know. I try to make these assignments very simple. They're usually daily grades, although at some point, they will be a test grade. But this is just essentially a part of communication. So it's very important that your students are able to do that. I know a lot of students, have complained, well, Miss, I don't have a lot of friends, or I don't really talk to a lot of people. But it's really important that they understand that this is not really about them having friends. It's about them being able to communicate as professionals and for professional purposes, like gathering information. In order to gather information, you have to be able to talk to people to get that information. You have to be able to ask for help and to ask for information, and that's just a part of it. Just like if they were in theater, a part of it would be they'd have to perform, whether they were shy or not. So I really want you guys to understand that, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm being mean or that I'm being dismissive about their student situation. I do understand that some of your students are new, some of them are freshmen, some of them are shy, and it is difficult for them to reach out. And I'm hoping that through this class they will be able to build those skills so that it's less difficult for them in the future, whether they continue to take my class or not. It'll be less difficult for them to get information from people, which they're going to need to do. I mean, we as adults need to ask questions. We as adults need to do a little research. We need to figure out the best price of things, the best way to go about doing things, procedures. And that's pretty much what I'm covering with the students: how to follow directions, how to go through specific procedures. The technology that we use is very useful in everyday life, I think. I've used it as a professional, and as just a regular person, as a mom. Um, I really focus a lot this 9 weeks on reporting. So it is all about doing interviews, and we will get more into other parts of communication, into writing. We'll dive more into photography, possibly into making videos. There's going to be other things that we learn, and um, I do need you to understand that at the root of it all is going to be communications, and that whole process of gathering information, interpreting information, and distributing information. That's always going to be at the root of everything we do. So, if you have any questions about what we are actually doing in class, about the specific assignments that your students are getting, please let me know. I am available. You can email me at jstraight@ysd.net. You can also, your students have my contact information to call me if need be, and we can schedule like another parent teacher conference. That's fine. I don't mind at all. Just like I don't mind for your students. And that's another thing. I'm always here for your students. I take calls while I'm cooking dinner. I make instructional videos to help your students better understand how to go through the steps of specific assignments. I've had students messaging me, sending me emails at 10:30 at night asking for help with assignments. And, if I'm awake, then I'm always going to help. The students that I see that are not doing so well are students who are not using their time well in class. They're not using their time for work. They're not showing up to class, so they don't understand what we're talking about because they haven't been to class. Those are the students that I see suffering the most, or just students that refuse to participate, because participation really does help. A lot of these grades are just like, do this survey or answer these questions, and students aren't turning those in. So it's not the reporting that's causing your student to fail. If that's what they're telling you, then they're leaving a few things out. But again, if you have questions, if you want to go over specifically um, any issues with me, please reach out to me. I am very available, and I would love to talk with you and just let you know how things are going and what we're actually working on. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my little video and learn more about my class. And I hope you have a good evening.